Hey folks, it's Jim. Wanted to do this video. I think it's important to me to share this with you. Let me open with my disclaimer. This is not advice or medical advice of any kind. You and you alone are responsible to seek out the professional advice that is right for you. This, again, is not advice for any kind. That is my disclaimer. Of any kind. That is my disclaimer. Okay, let me get into the video. I went and I overlapped several data outputs for which demographics this illness seems to be affecting. And I read a report out of China which was sent up a massive red flag to me, that mothers with corona giving birth, the infant has been unaffected in every case. Just about, at least that's the numbers I got out of there. They said unaffected. Now the child may have been born with a normal birth defect or something like that. But what they said was the corona seemed to have very little, this particular bug, had little to no effect on the infant that was born with no immune system virtually. So this sent off a massive red flag to me. When we talk about the flu going around, we worry about small children and elderly, don't we? That's what we get concerned about. So you would think we should be that way with this virus. How come then these infants are doing fine? Interesting, but it set off a red flag. So then let's refer back to the French health minister who said NSAIDs may be contributing to the severity of this illness. Now I didn't say that. French health minister, right? Showed it on another video. And you hopefully know what NSAIDs are now. I'm not going to say anything on this video because I don't want to be involved in any problems with these major corporations. Okay, so now the 0 to 10-year-old population seems to be relatively unaffected. 10 to 20-year-olds, relatively unaffected. 20 to 30-year-olds, relatively unaffected. 30 to 40-year-olds, it starts to rise up a little bit on the effects, but relatively nothing major. Then, and obviously some get super sick, and those are the anomalies in that demographic. Okay, they're not the constant, they're anomalies. So what might be the common denominator in these anomalies? Well, I don't think you're ever going to get to see that data. I think there's certain industries that won't ever allow that to be published. Then we go to the 40 to 50-year-old group. Now we're seeing more comparable to the flu. Then we go to 50 to 60. Now we see it, now it starts to curve up high, doesn't it? So what happens, what's going on early on in these early demographics? These people, these young people, reach for Tylenol, which doesn't affect the COX-2 enzyme, which is responsible for creating antibodies in your body. It's part of the chain. And then it helps, and your body creates antibodies. I don't want to get too technical on this. But some drugs you might be reaching for little nagging knee pain or shoulder pain, might directly affect the COX-2 enzyme and suppress it, which now you have a suppressed ability to create antibodies. Can you see maybe a problem here, folks? Now, let's get beyond that, and let's just overlap everything, and let's look at the demographics that are being affected. Well, at the demographic that starts getting bad, they might be on a cholesterol med. That might affect your immune response too. You might want to look that up. Right, all these statin drugs, you might want to seriously look into them, folks, if you're on them. Now again, this isn't medical advice. Work all this out with your doctor, okay? But what I've been doing is diet, exercise, sleep, and nutritional input management for my aging body. And my cholesterol numbers are mind-blowingly good, according to my doctor. It's like, wow. You know what I mean? So how is that? I didn't need drugs to fix it. I fixed it, right? Same thing with knee pain. If I have knee pain, it might be some of my nutritional input that's adding to the inflammatory response of my body, rather than putting good nutrition in my body that has an anti-inflammatory response. And we're finding out more and more that inflammation leads to a multitude of diseases systemically, okay, to include heart disease now, they're finding, okay? So my nutritional input of garbage may be contributing to my systemic health problems in many, many ways. So I can reverse that by studying, reading, and putting in proper nutrition and not taking medications for something I can fix by proper nutritional input and fasting, maybe. Anyway, I digress. Let's move on. So when I overlay all this data, I see it country after country after country after country, the exact same stuff. And so now I have to conclude that this virus isn't that bad. However, a major portion of our population in certain demographics are being predisposed to being set up to this by possibly a cocktail of medications that are interfering with their body's ability to naturally fight off a basically benign illness that an infant seems to be able to get through. Now, can you see the problem here? When we have the flu, yes, the flu is real. All this is real. I'm not saying don't follow the advice and do everything, stick in your lockdowns because we have such a vulnerable population. Please follow the protocols at this time. Okay, I definitely would never say don't do that because we have so many people vulnerable, okay, right now. And that's where it can get catastrophic, as you know. But if an infant can survive this, that's generally as vulnerable as a aging person, what is the stark difference? Well, I can tell you one thing I know for sure. The infant's on no meds and that other person is on about 5. That's what I see. Okay? And our young children, same thing. What do they get? Tylenol. Doesn't affect the COX-2 enzyme. What are the elderly on? All kinds of stuff that interferes with immune response, doesn't it? Okay, and you might be reaching for stuff for a knee pain, right? Or a shoulder pain, or a neck, or a headache. And if you read the disclaimers or the warnings on these 2.5-foot pamphlets that come on a bottle of pills, you know, that you need a magnifying glass to read, you probably never put the stuff in your body again like I don't. I find natural solutions to the body, and then I implement them into my life and correct the problem, such as knee pain. I might be eating stuff that's causing hyperinflammation in my body, which is systemic risk, okay? So there's more to it than just medication and whatnot. We might be predisposing ourselves to certain things, and then we add in what I think of as a ticking time bomb, medications that are messing with our immune system. Okay, now I'm not saying any specific things, obviously, on this video. I don't want to get involved with these corporations with 10,000 lawyers. What I'm telling you is, do your research and your homework and overlap this data for yourself, okay? But once I saw infants were being born fine from mothers who were affected with corona, I had to go, uh-oh, there's a massive disconnect here. That infant should be vulnerable if this virus is bad. That's my personal opinion, and I hope that you can see that too. So what else is going on as we age? The only thing I can see is the amount of medications distributed to these people on a daily basis to cure symptoms, not problems, generally, okay? And many of them might interact with our immune response to such a thing as a novel virus. While our children seem to be doing fine, our elderly are not, you do the numbers for yourself and see what you come up with. But the main reason I'm doing this video, and my channel's a prepper channel and an overall channel anyway, because I'm into a lot of things, but folks, sometimes reaching for a pill for a nagging little pain might not be the best answer. Maybe we should look into why our body's responding with pain and fix the problem, such as rehabbing the joint or changing our diet so that our inflammatory response isn't on full tilt, right? And maybe that might cure some of the pain. I know it works for me. You know, there's a lot of natural stuff I just add to my diet, like spice, that's natural anti-inflammatory and reduces my inflammatory response. Okay? And I'm not on cholesterol meds. In fact, my cholesterol's like that of a 20-year-old's, you know what I mean? Which is amazing to my doctor. So, how is this? You know, at my age, what am I doing? Well, what am I not doing, I think is the key. What am I not doing? Okay? What I'm doing is what any animal does. Live naturally. What am I not doing? Polluting my body with a ton of chemicals. That to me seems to be common sense. But for some reason in America, we just don't get it. I don't know. You know? And it's not my job to tell you how to live your life. Definitely not. You need to figure this out for yourselves. But I wanted to put this out there because the numbers are glaringly obvious. And the French health minister already said it. And obviously he's been scolded for that, hasn't he? But he already said it. It's out. But now that I'm getting more and more data on this, folks, to me, no one will ever publish a report on this. They won't let it be done. And I'm going to do a little spiel on the pandemic of 1918 that might blow your mind next. Hope you're all doing well. And remember, don't panic, relax. Take a look at all the medications you're on and have an open, honest discussion with your doctor. And you might want to say, why didn't you tell me this was part of the deal when I took this crap? Anyway, follow the advice of your physician. Follow the professional advice that is right for you. Make all these decisions under the guidance of a professional. But most of all, your body is a wonderfully and beautiful machine. It's wonderfully made and it's beautiful. Sometimes we just have to get out of the way to let it do its job. Jim out.